everyone, and welcome to my channel. I am Sunny, also known as the Oracle of Alexandria, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Star Temple Oracle. This video is going to be a complete unboxing and review of the deck, the book, the packaging, everything. If you just want to see a flip through, I will have a link to that down below in the video description. For this video, though, this is going to be essentially a deep dive into the book, the cards, everything. So, with all of that out of the way, thank you for joining me for this look at the Star Temple Oracle. So this book, this deck, was published by Blue Angel, and it is the work of Susie Cherub. And the artwork is done by, I'm sorry, I hate it when I butcher names, but I'm assuming that's Layla and Savolainen. So yes, it's there if you want to check out more of the artist's work. The artwork in this deck is incredible. And then let's see. So the back of the box says 44 cards and guidebook. Embody your sacred feminine powers and receive interstellar guidance with this glistening oracle from author, speaker, and intuitive coach Susie Cherub. The ancient wisdom of the Pleiades is weaved together with present-day mysticism to bring you uplifting and relevant insight. The Star Temple Oracle has been birthed to support your learning, creativity, awareness, and growth. Connect with the eternal knowing of the stars and let your intuition flow. Stunningly illustrated with illuminating messages to light up your intuition and help you shine. Alrighty, so where to begin? I guess let's take a look at the packaging here. So it's typical Blue Angel packaging. You've got a two-piece box with beautiful lining inside. I just love Blue Angel boxes. They really do an amazing job with them. So, okay. So there you go. That's the box, and then of course the traditional Blue Angel sheet of paper, I guess, to protect the cards. All right. So the cards come with this little plastic band around them to keep them in place. And as you can see, they're not reversible. Okay, so I have a lot to say about the book. I am extremely impressed with this guidebook. I really love it, and I would actually recommend this deck for beginners because it tells you everything you need to know to read cards effectively. Whether you're a beginner or you're experienced, the book is amazing. It has everything that pretty much anyone could want. I really feel like the deck in general was created by someone who is experienced with divination. It's not just a collection of random cards and art. In general, all of it is really, really, really well done. So according to the booklet, this deck draws on mythology about the Pleiades from around the world. And it has artistic and meaning inspiration for the cards drawn from Greek mythology, Japanese mythology, Chinese, Indian, specifically Hindu, New Zealand native. I believe it's pronounced Maori, but again, I could be totally butchering it, so I apologize. And then, of course, Australian Aboriginal lore, all about the Pleiades. So this book, if you happen to watch my Broken Mirror Tarot review, this book is obviously professionally formatted with all of the information that you would expect to have, including a proper table of contents along with the page numbers. So the page numbers actually serve a purpose. The book contains a very thorough beginner's guide. It has a lot of really nice little rituals for beginners, including a deck consecration. If you are an older card deck collector like me, you may be familiar with Doreen Virtue's books and decks and so on. This book is like that, but much better. It gives you more information without flooding the book with superfluous information. It tells you everything you need to know. It's just, I really can't praise it enough. So yeah, there's a thorough beginner's guide here with a nice deck consecration, energetic preparation ritual, a ritual to heighten your intuition by connecting to your inner oracle, and tips for using this deck intuitively. And I did everything. I did the consecration and the intuitive, I did everything. And I actually really enjoyed the ritual in this little booklet to connect to your inner oracle. And I actually found it to be beautiful. So really, really, really well done, especially for beginners. There are 5 spreads in the book with detailed instructions for every step, not just of the reading, but you can see here, for example, the star message, a single card spread, tells you to shuffle the cards, invoke the 7 sisters of the Pleiades for support. With devoted intention, ask a question, knock the deck and infuse it with magical starlight. Instinctively select one card from anywhere in the deck. Tune into the card for clear guidance and use your intuition to interpret the deeper meaning of the card. I particularly love this last line here. Use your intuition to interpret the deeper meaning of the card. I feel like not enough books about cartomancy in general, whether it's a tarot book, an oracle book, or anything else, not enough tell you to do that. And many people are left using the strict meanings of the cards from a book. And that can often leave people with kind of confusing results. If you get a card that isn't clearly and directly answering a question, and you don't know to use your intuition to kind of understand the card within the context of the question, you're not going to get great results. And I love that this book tells new card readers to do that. What I found interesting is that it never tells you to shuffle the deck. I'm sorry, actually, it does tell you to shuffle the deck, but it tells you to instinctively select cards from the deck. So rather than dealing from the deck directly, it tells you to draw the cards intuitively, which I sort of do that also. Not exactly, not in the way the book asks you to, but I found that interesting also. So the cards themselves are divided into what are called 7 series of cards, one for each of the Pleiades. So the first series of the cards is the Maya series. And in Greek mythology, Maya is the mother of Hermes. You have one series for each of the Pleiades, and then you have a closing series, I guess you could say an 8th series, for their parents, which is Atlas and Pleione. The first 7 series have 6 cards in each series, and then the final series obviously contains only the last 2. So that brings us to our total of 44 cards. The deck is also very thematic. Like, it is completely invested on the Star Temple theme and imagery, and it really does a fantastic job. So each card in the book has a single page of information dedicated to it. The booklet is not full color, which usually Blue Angel booklets are not. So not only do you get a couple of small paragraphs of information about the card and what it could mean, but you also get a few star words, which are essentially keywords. And the card itself has an affirmation, I suppose. Well, maybe not an affirmation, but it does have a phrase on it that can also give you sort of an idea of what the card could mean. I will say that some of the card meanings kind of come off as flavorful word salad. Some of it wasn't really written particularly clearly. But overall, the book is amazing. I am extremely happy with the book. If I were a newbie and this were one of my first decks, I would be so grateful for this book. So I'll be honest with you. I went into this deck with low expectations. And surprisingly, actual divination with the Star Temple Oracle was incredible. My first impression of the deck was that it might be too limited to be used for more divination purposes than fleshing out a tarot reading. And it is great for fleshing out tarot readings, and I do use it for that probably more often than not. I rarely use an oracle deck to do a whole spread or something of that sort. The great thing about this deck is that you can use it to do a whole spread. The spreads in the guidebook are actually fantastic. And what really blew me away about the deck is that it is a solid divination tool. It is good enough that you can use it by itself and you can still get good results if you are an experienced reader, if you are good at interpreting those deeper meanings of the cards. Like overall, this deck really yields some very potent results. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the flip through. So I'm not going to read all of the text on the card, but I will read the title of the card and let you know when we switch series between the different Pleiades. So this one is the Ancient Grandmother. And for the most part, there really isn't much rich symbolism in this deck. The art is very pretty, and this card is one of the few exceptions with the owl and with the scarab and all of the peacock feathers and so on, all of the different elements. You could maybe dig a little bit more out of the symbolism of this card, but most of the cards are just pretty. They're not symbolically rich. And of course, this card back is not reversible, unfortunately, but it's beautiful regardless. So this is the second card of the Maya series, and this is Beloved Zeus. Maya was the mother of Hermes, together with Zeus, or Zeus if you like the modern Greek pronunciation. And then this one is the Winged Messenger. And I do believe the booklet said that this is meant to depict Hermes, but it could be, since it draws on inspiration from so many different myths and cultures about the Pleiades. It is possible that this is not meant to depict Hermes, but it could be a different interpretation or understanding of the Winged Messenger from Pleiades lore. Okay. The Universal Midwife. The Ruby Star. the Amazon Queen. Now we're on the Alcyone series, and this is the Cosmic Enchantress. And her keyword there is wishcraft, which I think is cute. Instead of witchcraft, it's wishcraft. This one is the Empress of the Night. Another beautiful card. Ecopius the Seer. I do love when oracle decks are inclusive of masculine or male figures. Generally, I don't really like tarot or oracle decks that only have either just women or just goddesses or just men or just gods, things like that. So I always like it when we have it doesn't even have to be like a one-to-one balance or anything. Like, it's just nice when decks are inclusive in general. This is Aethusa, the sun goddess. And if I wasn't using my phone to record right now, I would Google Aethusa and see like where that name is from, and if it's from one of the cultures that I mentioned before that the book talks about drawing on for the deck. This one is the Moonstone Star. And that they definitely captured moonstones very well in their art. Like, if I weren't going to guess opal, that would probably be my first guess. My next guess would be moonstone. Okay, the Huntress. And now we start the series for Electra with the Goddess of Balance. This is very Two of Coins energy. At least in terms of the imagery. I like it though. Then we have the Lost Star. Gorgeous artwork. Kind of makes me think of Goddess Isis or something. Of course, I don't think it is, but just it evokes that feeling. Now we have the Awakener. And this card, the artwork looks a little unfinished. So if you look, her head is facing one way, her torso is facing another, her hips are facing another, and then her legs, she's almost like a rag doll in terms of her positioning. It doesn't look anatomically correct, and it doesn't look particularly finished compared to, like, even the very next card is much more detailed in terms of the artwork. But it's so pretty if you don't look too closely at it. This one is the Morning Star. And then we have the Amber Star. So with this one, I do have a little bit of a story time here. One of the first times I was using this deck, I was using it in conjunction with tarot, and this card came out. And the text on the card, the full text, says, "Let go. I surrender and allow myself to grieve." And when it came out, I had a very sincere sense that someone close to me was going to pass. And not long after I did that reading, I lost my cousin whom I'd grown up with. And that's not to say that this card or this deck is like a foreteller of doom. It's not. It's just, that's the way it worked out. Ironically, or maybe not ironically, the next time I did a reading with this deck, this card came up again, and thankfully everyone is okay. So it's not a card about doom and gloom. But for a card that is about grieving and loss and surrendering, That was one of the experiences that I've had with the deck, and that's something that definitely made an impression. I'm not going to forget it anytime soon. So now we have the Shining Star. Another absolutely beautiful card. And see, look at how detailed the artist got with like the wings on this fairy and even her dress and everything. And like the other one that I was talking about, where her body's kind of twisted in unnatural ways, is just not nearly so finished as this one. Okay, now we're on the Seleno series. And this is the Oracle. That's the name of the card. Seleno in this case is Seleno the Pleiades, not Seleno the Harpy. Seleno is actually the name of the harpy in The Last Unicorn. If you have read that book or seen that movie, this is the Inner Temple. And I actually really like the addition of the skull here because that is so perfect for this concept of the inner temple, like the inner temple of the self. One of the places where we process is, in our head, in our hearts and in our head. So, okay. Next we have the Enchanter. Okay. And the Holy Child. Very beautiful. The Jade Star. Absolutely lovely. And love that rich green. Green and pink are my favorite colors, so. The Little Star. This one is absolutely adorable. Okay, now we're starting the Tegeta series, and this card is the Temple. Come on, focus. Very good. Okay. It looks like there may have been a bird there, or maybe it's just a coincidence of shadow, but kind of looks like the outline of a bird that didn't get drawn in. I'm not sure. The Triple Star Grid. The Storyteller. I really love this card. It totally reminds me of Goddess Hera. Absolutely beautiful artwork, of course. The Seven Sisters. I really like this one too. It's very ethereal. And then we have the Aquamarine Star. The Mystic. The Star Mother. Okay, now we're on the Asterope or Asterope series. And what I really love about this card, this is a little bit obscure, but for fellow like mythology buffs and stuff, there's an ancient Greek writer called Parmenides who wrote a very interesting text about a goddess. Plutarch actually calls the goddess of Parmenides Aphrodite, and I can't remember what name Parmenides gives, but he describes her as wearing a crown of 12 stars. And she is essentially a goddess of fate. She rules over the zodiac. And this card always makes me think of that star goddess, the star mother, whether it's Aphrodite or a goddess by another name. It's absolutely beautiful. Then we have the Star Daughters. And I love this one because the children look like figures that we've met in the other cards, but when they were young. So that's so cute. And there are, of course, 7 of them. And here we have another Aphrodisian card, the Sacred Orchard. And she does have her crown of stars, and she's also got a golden apple. The artist did a fantastic job of capturing that metallic texture. The Visionary. The Lapis Lazuli Star. A little violet for lapis lazuli, but still beautiful, of course. The Cosmos. Now we're on the series for Merope, which is the last series before the parents of the Pleiades. And this card is the Priestess. And we have the Fallen Star. The Medicine Woman. The Mirror. The Diamond Star. And the Gateways of Light. Then we have Atlas, and his card is called Father of the Sky. And Mother of the Sea for Pleione. And there we have it. So that is the Star Temple Oracle. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. Please do share your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you own the deck? Do you have any interesting stories about your experiences with the deck? What is your favorite card? Please, by all means, dish in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts about the deck, your experiences, etc. And of course, please do like and subscribe if you enjoy. Excuse me, if you enjoyed this video. It really helps me out a lot, and I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you will join me again soon for another video.